Alright, let's dive into something that's been making waves in the world of personal finance, the new EPF Rules 2026. Now, I know what you're thinking. Another update? Really? But trust me, this one's worth your attention. The government has rolled out some major changes to the Employees Provident Fund, EPF, scheme, and personally, I think it's a game changer for how we think about retirement savings. Let's break it down. First off, the hook. Did you know that if you quit your job, you now have to wait a full 12 months before you can withdraw your EPF? That's up from just 2 months under the old rules. Crazy, right? But here's the thing, this isn't just about making things harder. It's about encouraging long-term financial planning. And honestly, I think it's a smart move even if it feels a bit restrictive at first. Now, let's talk contributions. The basic structure remains the same, 12% of your wages from both you and your employer, up to a ceiling of 15,000 Indian rupees. But here's where it gets interesting. If you're earning more than 15,000 Indian rupees, you can now voluntarily contribute beyond that ceiling. What makes this really interesting is that it gives high earners more control over their retirement savings. But here's the catch. Your employer isn't obligated to match those extra contributions. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Personally, I think this is a great way to boost your retirement fund if you're in a position to do so, but it's definitely something to think about carefully. What many people don't realize is that this voluntary contribution system could significantly impact your take-home salary. If you decide to max out your EPF contributions, you're essentially trading a higher paycheck today for a bigger nest egg tomorrow. From my perspective, this is a classic case of short-term pain for long-term gain. But it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It really depends on your financial situation and priorities. Now, let's move on to withdrawals because this is where things get really interesting. The old system had 13 categories for partial withdrawals. 13. That's way too complicated. The new system simplifies it down to just 3 categories: health, education, and housing. In my opinion, this is a huge improvement. It makes the system way more user-friendly and less confusing. But here's the kicker. You can only withdraw up to 75% of your EPF balance at any given time. The remaining 25% is locked in to ensure you don't deplete your retirement savings. What this really suggests is that the government is trying to strike a balance between flexibility and financial security. One thing that immediately stands out is the emphasis on long-term planning. For example, if you want to withdraw money for education or marriage, you need to have been an EPF member for at least 12 months. This raises a deeper question. Are we, as a society, prioritizing long-term financial health over immediate needs? Personally, I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's also important to acknowledge that not everyone has the luxury of waiting. A detail I find fascinating is the special provision for women who leave their jobs to get married. They're exempt from the 12-month waiting period for withdrawals. This is a clear nod to the unique financial challenges women often face, and I think it's a commendable move. But it also highlights a broader issue. Why aren't there more gender-specific financial policies like this? If you take a step back and think about it, this could be the start of a much-needed conversation about financial equality. Finally, let's talk about the bigger picture. These changes aren't just about tweaking a few rules. They're about reshaping how we think about retirement. The EPF is no longer just a mandatory savings account. It's a tool for active financial planning. What this really suggests is that the government is trying to empower individuals to take control of their financial futures. But here's the thing, with great power comes great responsibility. It's up to us to make the most of these changes. So, here's my closing thought. The EPF Rules 2026 are more than just a policy update. They're a call to action. Whether you're a high earner looking to maximize your savings or someone just starting out, these changes offer something for everyone. But the real question is, are you ready to take advantage of them? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are these changes a step in the right direction, or do they miss the mark? Let's keep the conversation going.